Y'all. It's your boy Cam Legend. I hope all is well with you today. Another beautiful day out here in nature. Yes, I went to the underworld, and today I'm going to tell you what it's like to be in the underworld and come back. That's the most important thing. You make sure that you come back. Now, before I proceed, please press the like button. If you're a new viewer, welcome. I am Cam Legend. Please consider subscribing. And shout out to everyone that is supporting the movement, that is really helping me grow and ascend physically, mentally, spiritually, okay? And I'm still doing 25% discount on name readings. Check the description box. Now, the underworld. Some people know the underworld to be ruled by Hades. Some people know the underworld to be ruled by Anubis. And the underworld is alluding to water, because what we see with our consciousness, our mind, is based upon memory, is based upon the mind, and your memory and mind is all hidden within the cells of water. This is why an octopus is highly intelligent in this physical reality, because it's gained alien intelligence from going to the deeper depths of the water. And a octopus, within the word octopus, you have the word oct, which means 8. 8 is the infinite wheel of samsara, reincarnation, death, and rebirth. So before you can go to the underworld, you have to understand that your consciousness will die, because you will learn newer things about this physical reality that can be scary and daunting. And Anubis is a gatekeeper, and he weighs your heart on a scale. And if it's heavier than the feather, you have to go through this underworld process for amount of time to reincarnate this 8 cycle. Now, what you will realize when you go to the underworld through doing certain rituals is that a lot of fear will come to the surface, and you have to battle your fear. And the best way to do this is to stay in the heart space. You see, that's the link between Anubis and your heart, and the feather having to be light. But what we see with the heart, and what the shaman knows about the heart, is that you have to be brave. This is why we call people that are brave hearts, because you have to follow your heart even if it pains. This is what they don't tell you, is that you must follow your heart, your desires of your heart, but it also pains. Why do you think Spider-Man is speaking about great responsibility, and the Spider-Man symbol is in the middle of his chest where his heart is? Because once you tap into this infinite web, which is just like the internet, you now find out that all these parallel realities do exist in lighter states of consciousness. And it's your awareness, it's the decisions you make that will push this in this physical screen of reality, what we see with our eyes. So when you go into the underworld, you will see these parallel realities. And as a shaman, you see it vividly, very visual. And you can get spooked by it, or you can stay within the heart space and really stay within the energies of gratitude, gratefulness, because that calibrates your system. You see, it's hard for people to get into the heart space because of this fear. Your heart chakra is the medium between your primordial self, which is fear, sex, jealousy, envy, survival, shelter, food. That's the lower primordial self. And you can't escape that. Once you go into the underworld, you're going to feel that too. But then you also have the feeling of liberation, that you control your destiny, that you have to completely go through these cycles of renewal of consciousness to really get a grasp of this physical reality. So one will say, how did you go to the underworld? What methods did you do to go to the underworld? So as somebody who really initiates themselves into being a shaman, I'm not somebody who walks around with all the accessories. No, I'm a shaman because I work with the elements. I do alchemy. I use all forms of natural methods to learn more about this physical reality from the ground up. And because of that, I am initiated into the schools of the mysteries. So what I usually do is I do things of extreme lengths of the physical body and its abilities. So predominantly I eat a vegetarian, fruitarian diet. I do eat a lot of seafood. I don't really eat red meat. And actually, when I was on this journey in the underworld, I saw how much fear and death was inside of me through this journey. And this is why, when they talk about going on psychedelics and all these kind of things, they always talk about purifying your body, because your digestive system is actually the kingdom, and everything will be relayed in this screen of space based upon your stomach. So with that being said, I was going to meet a friend's business who's just opened a new THC company, and I bought a brownie, and I went to the sauna to work these elements, and a lot of synchronicity was happening at this time. But again, for somebody in 5D, this isn't a revelation. This is something you just know. But when I went on this journey, I realized more why these synchronicities were happening, because your conscious mind can see the synchronicities, but it's actually when you go into the underworld, into that 8 energy, that infinite energy, you see the synchronicities clearly. Okay, so I bought this brownie, I've eaten the brownie, and I'm trying to activate the 5 elements within man. Arm, leg, leg, arm, leg. Arm, leg, leg, arm, head, sorry, Allah. So I'm trying to activate these 5 elements, which is earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. The spirit is the gateway to the underworld. So I've eaten the brownie, which is the earth element. I've gone to the sauna, the spa, into the steam room, and the steam room is allowing me to perspirate. So that's air. I'm also sweating, that is water. And then the fire energy is my kundalini energy rising up the back of my spine from the heat. So I've activated the elements. I've also gone for a massage afterwards to allow the chi to rise up, because this is like a spa retreat service that we have in Thailand, just beautiful place to really rejuvenate. So I've activated these 5 elements. Now, what I could say on this journey was that I also did another thing I did actually was when I was in the steam rooms, going out and in, I was in the lotus position, and I was in certain yoga positions to allow the energies to rise. So this is how I'm intensifying the energy. So someone will say, well, oh, do you need mushrooms to go on a trip? Not necessarily. I just had a brownie, and you know how brownies hit you. They don't hit you like how you smoke. And I'm also going to a sauna, which is going to amplify those energies. And this is what a real shaman does. A shaman knows how to work with those elements, because those elements are already inside of you. So now I've done that, the brownie's kicking in, and a lot of things are happening with my eyes closed. And I'm seeing visions that actually got manifested in this physical reality afterwards. But again, I'm not going to talk about it because I feel like certain mysteries should be kept to yourself. And like I said, it was more about introspection about me, and seeing how much pain was in my heart, and seeing why it's hard to actually get people to get to consciousness, because that pain is deep. It's deep. It's a deep feeling. And the underworld isn't for everyone, because some people will go into the underworld and not make it back, maybe consciously. They have a hard time grounding from these journeys. And that's what I really realized was compassion. I had a lot of compassion for people, because I understood that the heart space is a sacred space to get to, and it requires a lot of healing and a lot of compassion for others. And of course, THC is known to emit a lot of light, alluding to phosphorus or phenolum and these other words beginning with pH. And that's the Luciferian love energy. So in these journeys, you can have a lot of compassion and love. But once you come out of that consciousness, you can go back to being stiff, rigid, and all these kind of things. But you want to make sure you journal and record everything of these journeys, so you can try and keep your consciousness within compassion. Compassion and gratitude is the key. It's the key. And what I realized mainly was that consciousness is so deep in your memory cells. So even when we see people do humiliation rituals and they get on with life afterwards and they elevate up based upon the humiliation rituals that they did, it's still in their consciousness. And a lot of these celebrities we see have a problem with drug addictions. So when you take these drugs, your mind will put you back into these parallel realities, and can also really decide your fate. Because maybe like a rapper could go into these altered states of consciousness and see that they've been given all these things in this physical reality, just to be an example of not what to do, or that there has to be a trade-off with these infinite energies within the water. There's a contract you make. So a lot of these sacrifices we see, just in general, when I mean sacrifices, I mean people that create their own demise by speaking death or going back to their own hood and dying. That is because they're walking a path of knowing that they were elected just for the elevation and growth of human development within certain races. That's what I truly found out when I was on this journey, is that some of us are martyrs. Some of us have to be sacrificed in order to evolve the human consciousness. So it kind of makes you feel weird about death, but at the same time, death doesn't really exist. Especially this journey. This journey was lit. It was truly like a roller coaster. It was a trip, you see? And the trip is always going to be scary, but it's going to be fun at the same time. That's that polarizing energy. And as I was on this journey and my energies was vibrating high, my pineal gland was on fire, my cerebellum was on fire, and my hair that I'm growing out was on absolute fire. But I was receiving a lot of information. And this is why Buddhists cut off their hair, because when you work with that head, the energies of your head, there's going to be a lot of temperature, degrees. And if you can't handle it, it's going to be hard for you to stay calm on these journeys. Okay? So an example of what was happening was I was closing my eyes and I was seeing visions, and I was seeing a wheel of light. And if you know about Ganesh in Hindu philosophy, and even in the Matrix, where they're dodging the bullets, and there's like different aspects of themselves. This is what I was seeing, and it's based upon your speed of thought and your vibration. So whilst I was on this journey, I was also beating my body and touching my body, because your heart is in sync with the frequencies you're emitting. This is where we go with brain, gut, heart coherence. So I'm emitting these frequencies like a radio to gain the intuition, to gain the information from the ancestors below, the angels, the demons, the higher aspects of this reality. This is all going through you because you are that fragmented light. Okay? But once you go into the 8, you get into the wholeness through now. This is why it's a trip. This is why it's a cycle. It's scary, because you have to feel all the aspects of this physical reality, and you can only stay grateful because you understand that your ancestors are guiding you to make the right decisions. The angels are guiding you to make the right decisions. The demons are opposing you to allow you to become stronger. And if you can beat these levels, like I say, new levels, new devils, if you can do that, you now come into godliness. Okay? So my brain was really on fire and I was seeing a pendulum swing, and the pendulum swing was just amplifying. It was speeding up. It was really gaining momentum. And that was what was telling me that you need to make the right decisions here on earth. Just like the chessboard, you have to make the right decisions, because your feet, your feet actually look like a fish. If you look at your 5 fingers, those are the tails, you see? And this is, as a Pisces, I know this. So I'm connected to the water. So your carbon footprint, your melanin footprint, is based upon the walks and decisions you make in life. So that is what duality was telling me, you see? So imagine as I'm having this trip, I open my eyes and I see some guy walking past me, and he's wearing like, you know, like Foot Locker, like the Foot Locker black and white stripe thing going on, like the duality thing. I saw a guy wearing like clothes similar to that, and I just had to laugh, because as I was internalizing this, it was also being pushed out in the screen of space, which just showed me how fake this reality is, you know. And what I was realizing was all the things that I did prior to this journey also was on a wheel, like a film reel, and it was connected to the DNA sequence of life. So the synchronicities I was having was all the stuff I was putting into my subconscious mind. And we know that we speak about this a lot in the conscious community, in the metaphysical community. But when you're on a journey and you see it so vividly, it hits you different. This is why I read books, to amplify these thoughts and feelings. but I have to do the inner work to gain an inner standing. You know, and even what I realized was, like, even though we may call people in this physical reality bots, and you know, they don't have a lot of consciousness, as fragmented lights on this physical reality too, even if we're enlightened, we still don't know it all. We still don't know it all. We have to continually do the work and break these paradigms to really pass through this physical reality. One thing I realized is that it's very easy to escape this physical reality. The minds did it. And if you stay in these states of consciousness, you can really exit this vehicle and go into a parallel reality. You know, but that is kind of not what you want to do right now, because you have a lot of work. I feel like if you're here in this era, you have a lot of work and clearing to do for your family and your ancestors. Okay, and until that work is done, should you really want to be looking into parallel realities? We're going to be going into them. We're going to see more glitches in the matrix. We're going to see a lot of spooky things, and you have to be prepared for it, you see. So, you know, that's what the underworld is like. It's fun, it's trippy, it's like a roller coaster. It's not for the faint-hearted. There's a gatekeeper, Anubis, and he won't grant you access until you try to at least purify that heart. And yeah, you just really want to get with wholeness and gratitude. Gratitude is the key. It's the key. I can't express that more than ever. You want to be grateful for everything that you do. Everything that comes in your physical reality. Be grateful for the small things. You have to be grateful for it. And that's how you gain wisdom. You see? So, with that being said, I'm about to take a little break. Go journal or something over there. My peace spot. Okay? So if you've liked this video, you know what to do. Peace.